Ani, we give thanks to the Creator. We acknowledge the world around us and understand our place within it. We acknowledge and offer our respect to the many nations that walked this land in the past, the many nations that walk it today, and welcome you to the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe. Sacred trust, we are the keepers of this land. She shelters and sustains us. Long after the flesh fails the spirit, we will care for this land. Our drums will be heard upon the wind, our voices in the rustle of the leaf. Our people have a sacred trust for the land, a trust no man may break, a trust that death cannot sever. We were here when you first stepped foot upon this land, and here we will remain long after the last step has disturbed your soil.
As an institution committed to learning, research, and to improving life, we are on a journey of transformative acts towards reconciliation. We acknowledge our role in strengthening relationships with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, and in upholding our responsibilities as treaty partners and citizens. We know there is much work to do here and across Canada, and we are dedicated to taking these next steps together towards a brighter future. We would ask you to please remain standing and welcome brand new Griffin alumnus Carly Goodall for today's national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Let us pause for a moment to embrace a short time of silence, and in your own way, be it through prayer or remembrance or thoughtful affirming, recognize that for which you stand most grateful this day. And now, as we open ourselves to a new season of life, may the knowledge that we have attained here be coupled with wisdom, colored with compassion, and marked with humility. May we embrace each new challenge in ways that honor creation, that foster community, and that defends the dignity of all people. And may the mystery of life and each new opportunity sustain in us meaning and purpose as we seek to be agents of grace and peace and hope for this world. Amen. You may be seated.
Good afternoon. My name is Marianne Chambers. I'm a daughter of the Caribbean island of Jamaica. Almost 46 years ago, my husband, Chris, and I chose Canada to be our home, the place to raise our 2 young sons. I made a commitment then, as I do now, that Canada would be good for us and we would be good for Canada. I see that as consistent with the University of Guelph's commitment to improve life. The scope of that, the needs, the opportunities are limitless. They are local and they are global. Consistent with the objects and purposes of the University of Guelph Act of 1964, being the intellectual, social, moral, and physical development of its members and the betterment of society, the university also applies a definition of sustainability, adopted from one established in 1987 by the World Commission on Environment and Development, which states, sustainability means meeting the needs of today's generation without compromising the needs of future generations. At its broadest scope, it encompasses economy, society, and environment. Addressing climate change and food insecurity has become more important than ever, critical to the survival of our planet. Issues like global health, geopolitical instability, and cybersecurity are demonstrating clearly that geographical borders are man-made, easily breached, and increasingly irrelevant. We're designed to be social beings. We were not created to live in isolation of each other. It should not require a crisis for us to recognize that we are essential to the well-being of each other. Among you are researchers and innovators who have crucial roles to play in addressing these heavy issues. Challenges of such magnitude with broad implications and consequences call for the attention of the brightest minds from every academic discipline. If we imagine the various ways that human beings, plant life, and animal life are impacted by these kinds of challenges, it becomes obvious that there are connections, collaborations, and partnerships required everywhere. Graduates, you are building upon a foundation established by high achievers from every college of this university. I hope you have a sense of what is possible. I want you to aspire to greatness. Most of all, I want you to make your lives matter, because our world truly needs you to do that. The world should be a better place because you have lived. As you embrace the pleasure and satisfaction of these moments and look with optimism and courage towards the next chapters of your lives, I wish you continued success, and I ask you to remember how you have gotten to this point. I am thinking not about how hard you have worked really, but about those who have cared so much about you and have often made significant sacrifices to enable you to dream big and hopefully to improve life for yourselves and for others. This would be a good point in time for you to stand and applaud those who have supported you. Come on. We accomplish very little on our own. So remain close to the University of Guelph. This will always be your alma mater. Be very proud of that.
Good afternoon. I'm Sharada Srinivasan. I'm Associate Professor of Development Studies and Canada Research Chair in Gender Justice and Development. Madam Chancellor, at the recommendation of the Senate of the University of Guelph, it is a great honor to present to you the candidate Vikas Swarup for the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa. During more than 30 years of diplomatic service, including serving as India's High Commissioner to Canada, Vikas Swarup has demonstrated a passion for intellectual pursuit in universities and for the causes of democracy and diversity. An acclaimed diplomat and writer, he worked to strengthen Indo-Canadian relations, including helping to lead initiatives involving the University of Guelph. His long and distinguished career in India's foreign service included diplomatic positions in numerous capitals worldwide. As High Commissioner to Canada and unofficially as a highly accessible people's diplomat, he underlined the relevance and role of democratic, diverse nations in today's world. Recognizing common interests between the University of Guelph's signature research strengths and India's need to modernize agriculture and contribute to food security and well-being, Swarup has been a strong supporter of the establishment of the India Research Center at the university. That initiative followed on his long and distinguished association with the Shastri Indo-Canadian Institute, including visits to several universities in every region of Canada. Swarup has drawn upon his experiences to become an acclaimed writer. His first novel, Q&A, written in 2005, was adapted into the multi-Oscar-winning film Slumdog Millionaire. In that debut novel and in the two subsequent novels, his command of language and imagery have portrayed India's multiple realities and highlighted the struggles, hopes, and successes of everyday people in the country. I now ask you, Madam Chancellor, to confer upon Vikas Swarup the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
By the authority of the Senate of the University of Guelph, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa. I will now invite Dr. Swarup to deliver the Convocation address.
Chancellor Dr. Mary Ann Chambers, President and Vice Chancellor Dr. Charlotte Yates, Provost Dr. Gwen Chapman, members of the faculty, parents, relatives, friends of the class of 2022, and graduates. Let me begin by saying how honored and grateful I am to be standing here today wearing this gown and hood. When I first came to this great university in October of 2018 and learned about its mission to improve life, I had no idea that 4 years later it would so dramatically improve mine by embracing me as one of its own and offering this ultimate token of spiritual brotherhood. I want to thank my family, my wife Aparna, and my 2 sons for their love and support. I'm delighted that one of them, Varun, is here to share my joy, and as usual, he's sitting in the very back row. And of course, I want to thank Dr. Sharada Srinivasan, and everyone at the University of Guelph for giving me this extraordinary privilege of attaching my name to this glorious and hoary institution. I also want to thank the university for bringing me back to Canada. My visit here today represents a homecoming, for I have always considered and will always consider Canada as my second home. This country has given me and my family great love and affection. We adore its wonders and beauty. We treasure its friendship. We share its laughter, and we cherish its humanity and generosity. At a time when the rest of the world is building walls and erecting fences, Canada stands as a beacon of openness and acceptance. And nothing exemplifies its embrace of diversity more than the tremendous success that the community of Indian origin has achieved in Canada. By conferring this Doctor of Letters honoris causa, you have honored my work as a diplomat and a writer, and in doing so, you have shown a spotlight on the need for diplomacy and arts in today's world. Diplomacy is at its core about communication, and diplomats are supposed to be good communicators. So good, in fact, that they can tell you to go to hell in such a way that you actually look forward to the trip. In a world plagued by war and viruses, we need more communication. At a time when the world is turning dangerously inward and insular, we need more people interested in international issues because there are so many of them now. Global threats like climate change, violent extremism, and infectious disease can only be tackled through concerted, united international action. The pandemic that we are just about emerging from has upended lives and livelihoods and altered our behavior and beliefs. 2 years ago, who could have thought that you could walk into a bank wearing a mask, demand cash, and get it without getting arrested? But the pandemic has also shown that our societies have immense potential for collective action and change when faced with a looming emergency. So the world needs more diplomacy and less muscle flexing, more collaboration and less confrontation. The world also needs more writers. When I began my journey as a writer, I could never have imagined that it would take me, a professional diplomat, to literary festivals all across the world, to the Oscar ceremony in Hollywood, and now to this moving ceremony here at the Guelph Griffin Athletic Center. I wrote my first book when I was 42, but my literary journey began really when I was 4 or 5. When I heard my first stories in the lap of my grandfather and got lost in that fairy tale world of kings and queens. It began when I entered a library for the first time and experienced that exhilarating sense of discovery and enlightenment contained within the contemplative world of books. It began when I wrote my first short story and submitted it to the school magazine and basked in the childish thrill of seeing my own name in print. That child is still alive in me. And that is why I hesitate to call myself a writer. I prefer to call myself a storyteller. In honoring me, you honor imagination and the art of storytelling, which is as old as humanity itself. And that is why I'm especially glad to be sharing this moment with the students of the College of Arts. All across the world, the liberal arts are said to be in crisis. We've all heard the jokes about liberal arts majors, inspired by stereotypes that students in the humanities, social sciences, and languages are destined to lives of underemployment. So the science major asks, why does it work? The engineering major asks, how does it work? The business major asks, how much will it cost? But the liberal arts major asks, do you want fries with that? What the joke suggests is that choosing a liberal arts education is a waste of time and money. Not only is this implication untrue, it undermines the very reason why universities were set up in the first place. As Albert Einstein said, the value of an education in a liberal arts college is not the learning of many facts, but the training of the mind to think something that cannot be learned from textbooks. And that something is critical thinking, which the Chancellor also alluded to. It is critical thinking, communication, creative problem solving, and being able to make connections across complex ideas. These are the skills you need to succeed in the world of the 21st century. And a 4-year-old study at Google called Project Oxygen confirms it. In fact, it shocked everyone by concluding that among the 8 most important qualities of Google's top employees, STEM expertise comes in dead last. Much more valuable are soft skills such as empathy, critical thinking, and problem solving. This is not to say that we don't need engineers, scientists, and technicians. We do, but we also need historians, philosophers, artists, and writers. Technology can improve life, but it is the arts, music and dance, poetry and painting, literature and drama, which enrich life and give it meaning. So a degree in the liberal arts prepares you not only to make a living, but also to make a life. It equips you with the biggest skill needed to succeed in the innovation economy of the 21st century, imagination. Innovation depends not just on improving what's already around, but on imagining things the world hasn't yet seen. This is what writers and poets and artists and thinkers do. We also need linguists to decode the past, historians to draw parallels from it and help make sense of the present, and sociologists and anthropologists to decipher the challenges of society and make it better. So the future belongs to people who have liberal arts minds, minds that can see the big picture, minds that can reason and think out of the box, create and discover something new. You, the class of 2022, are fortunate to be graduating in the most exciting era of innovation and disruption in human history. Today, there are no limits to creativity because the publishers, the gatekeepers, the middlemen have all been cut out. Digital media platforms are available everywhere, and we can all be creators of stories and songs just as easily we were once simply consumers or downloaders. So go ahead and create your own stories. Create hope, create compassion, create understanding, create a better world. Thank you.